Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Back to the Feminine, where I strive to motivate and inspire Black women to level up and make better choices for themselves and their future generations. Today I want to talk about why they don't want you to be feminine, but they want you to be sexy. I'm really passionate about this topic because I do feel like Black women, the way we are viewed in society, in the media, in other countries. And when I say other countries, I'm in North America. I'm in Canada, to be specific. I'm not American. I'm in Canada. So when I say other countries, I'm talking about outside of North America. They assume that Black women are just for sex purposes and just to be sexy. And it's very frustrating as a Black woman because there's so much more to us than just our sex appeal. And I really, really encourage Black women to stay away and do not promote and do not encourage these rap artists and these female rappers that only want to make money and profit off of Black women's sexuality. Okay, I'm not going to name specific rappers or artists because I'm sure you guys know who I'm talking about or who I'm referring to. But there are so many artists nowadays, and I use the term artist loosely because they're not really making real art, but there are so many rappers and things nowadays that use Black women to make money by hypersexualizing us in these music videos and in the rap music. And it's been going on for over a decade now, since the 90s kind of came in and everything. 90s R&B, 90s rap, it went, it's kind of skyrocketed at that point, in my opinion, where Black women were solely used to promote sexuality, sex, sexiness. And a lot of young Black women feel like their beauty and their version of femininity is tied into how sexy they can be, how fat their backsides are, or how big their backsides are, how big their breasts are, and things like that. And this is what I'm really trying to point out right now. There's more to you than how sexy you are. Okay, you can be beautiful, you can turn heads in a room, you can be attractive, you can be the most beautiful woman in a room and not give off a sexy or sex kitten kind of energy. You can look classy and do the same thing. And you see, a lot of women too wonder, why do a lot of men, especially men that are not Black, okay, men that are not Black, that like to swirl or whatever you call it, or men that like to date out of their race, whether they're Asian, white, whatever they are, they will pursue Black women, especially dark-skinned Black women, with the intentions of being physically intimate right away, or that's kind of what they're expecting from you. They don't really think that you also want to be dated and you also want to be taken out and treated and spoiled. You also want to, feel good about yourself. They assume that you just want to, you're going to have sex with them very quickly. And I'm going to do future videos talking about women that are not, that are throwing their pearls to swine, for lack of a better term. I'm going to do videos on that later on. But right now, I really want to focus on this. They don't want you to be feminine. And I want Black women to understand this. Okay? They don't want you to be feminine. Don't ask me who they is, because it's a lot of them. They don't want you to be feminine because femininity is where the real power is. Okay? When you are a feminine woman, that's when you really have some power. Okay? That's why feminism is so pushed on. Here's the thing. I'm not going to get too much into the history of feminism per se at this present moment, but I just want Black women to understand something, that white feminists are not necessarily your allies here. Okay? And they know how feminism affects the Black community. They know what it does to the Black family, to the Black woman. It's a different dynamic here. And for Black women, you know, when you're more sexy or sexual as opposed to being feminine, it's a completely different response from society, from men, and quite frankly, it's selling. Okay? If Black women were to turn around and say, you know what, I don't want to be this hypersexualized individual anymore. I want to be classy, or I want to be more on the feminine side, feminine classy side, a lot of people would not know how to make money anymore. Okay, so there's some power here in if we were to just stop for a second and adjust our behavior, adjust the way that we act, and go back to being feminine. Now, so what are some ways, or, you know, some examples? And, you know, I'm just going to point it out. I'm not really a fan of Cardi B. I'm not a big fan of mainstream music in general. And so Cardi B's twerk video, for example, I want you to really analyze that music video. Okay, just for a second. You don't have to watch it or anything if you haven't watched it. But if you were to just, like, you know, see a one snapshot of it, and you'd see Cardi B. She's problematic as it is, and I'm not going to get into her too much, but you see Cardi B, and then you see a bunch of dark-skinned Black women just shaking their asses. That's essentially the entire music video. It's just twerking, okay? And yeah, there are, you know, women of different races or different ethnicities. I'm not sure if there's women of different races in the video. I would have to watch it again. I can't say for sure if there was or if there were not. But I know there were, you know, women of different shades as well. But I noticed that there were a lot of dark-skinned women. I didn't see, you know, and some Black women are going to turn around and say, oh, no, that's a win for Black women because she used Black women instead of white women or, you know, non-Black Hispanic women. This is not a win for us, guys. This is not a win. This is not good. This is the same image that I'm trying to get Black women to stop subscribing to. Okay? We are worth more than our backsides. There is more to a Black woman than the size of it and how well she can move it. There's more to us than this. These kinds of music videos and these artists, they understand, okay, that yes, we are great dancers. We have the best bodies, you know. Got to put that out there. You know, Black women are amazing. But when you only depict them in a sexual light in the music video, like, think about it. In the early 90s music videos, it was very rare that a Black woman was kind of, a dark-skinned Black woman especially, was the center, you know, of the center love interest that the man was chasing and pursuing or something. It was always either a lighter-skinned woman or a non-Black woman, period. And, you know, if the Black woman was in the music video, she either had some kind of attitude or she was chasing him, trying to get him back, or something of that nature. But whenever a man was chasing a woman, he was chasing a non-Black woman or a lighter-skinned woman. And whenever the music video was supposed to be sexy or sexual, that's when they bust out all the darker-skinned Black women, or the Black women in general. That's when they bust them out. And they got them doing all kinds of, you know, sexy stuff. That's when the Black women are all of a sudden, okay, there's use for you now. And, you know, there was a period of time where in the rap, you know, rap or whatever music videos where artists were using more like light-skinned women, non-Black women, you know, white, Asian, whatever. They were using all kinds of women, and Black women were getting upset. Oh, they don't use dark-skinned women to be their video vixens and all this kind of stuff. And this is what I'm talking about. You guys need to stop trying to be those things. Okay? Being a video vixen, being a sex object, it's not cute. It's not the way. Those video vixens, you don't know what they have to do to even get on that set to be in that video. Okay? When I see black women fighting for that kind of stuff, oh, why don't they want dark-skinned women anymore in their music videos? Okay? You're fighting to you're upset because rappers don't want dark-skinned women half naked or, naked in their music videos. They're hypersexualizing you. Why do you want to fight for that? Okay, so these are all like, I know I'm going layer by layer here, but I'm really trying to unpack this topic with black women. And I want black women to understand that they don't want you to be feminine. Okay, it makes them too much money. You being hypersexualized in the media, in society, it is not only beneficial to their pockets, especially our mainstream artists right now, but it's just something that keeps us down. Okay, and I'm going to get into that deeper in future videos. But you see, when black women treat themselves as sex objects, it creates a cycle effect. As I said, I'm going to get into it later on, but there is a cycle effect that happens where you have generations of black women that have low self-esteem and they look at themselves as solely sex objects. They look at themselves as, well, I need to be sexy to be noticed. As I said in my previous video, episode 2, I will be going through different ways that women can be more feminine in their own way. And I know everyone has their own version of what it means to be feminine. I'm just sharing mine. You don't have to take it if you don't agree with me. But I want black women to understand something. We need to stop subscribing to that sex appeal, look. We're worth more than that. That's why men always approach black women with this whole incentive for sex as opposed to approaching another woman. Let me tell you guys a quick story. I went to a mechanic, and this mechanic was, I'll keep it short, this mechanic was Arab. Okay? Fair-skinned Arab man. And he told me verbatim, if I can take you to the back room and, be sexually intimate with you, I'll fix your car for free. Basically what he told me. And I looked at him and I said, what? Like, are you crazy? Keep in mind, I was dressed very feminine. I was dressed to the nines. He was asking me this because I'm black and because in his culture, their women are, their culture is predominantly Muslim, and their women are expected to be virgins on their wedding night. He knows he can't go to no Arab woman asking these kinds of questions or asking for these favors. People in their community would talk, especially if somebody knows somebody. And he felt confident enough to ask a black woman if he can do that. And I asked him, I said, why would you ask me that? He said, what's the problem? And I was like, I'm not into that. And then he proceeded to ask me, well, can I take you on a date? And I said, no, you can't, because I know you can't marry me. And he knew that was right. He shook his head and he let it be. He left it alone. And I did leave right away. But my point is that that's just a snippet of how society views black women. We are just for sex objects, sexy, even when you see the way black men or any kind of man really compliments black women. I can't say all black men do this, but the only time I've had a black man really compliment me on my beauty and not try to make it sexual was when he was older. An older black man or something like that. But the younger ones were always kind of looking, booty or something like that. I'm not saying all black men would do that, but men in general tend to kind of sexualize black women almost immediately. And they expect sex from black women almost immediately too. Even when they're dating, they think, okay, well, I'm dating a black woman, so she's going to be kind of easy. And I'm going to talk about black women who are too easy later on and why that affects us as a community. Because we're already being degraded in the media and hypersexualized there. And then when you add, some of us being too easy to sleep with and things like that, it just makes it worse for everyone. Okay, so what I want you guys to take out from this video, if you've watched the whole thing, is that you're worth more than just how sexy you are. There are ways to be feminine, beautiful, attractive, turn heads in a room without having to constantly be sexy and, exposing your body, exposing yourself to try to get attention in those areas, wearing clothes that show off how tight this is or how fat that is. And, there's no need for that because we are such beautiful women. We don't need to do that. Once we learn how to be feminine, a lot of women are going to understand that they don't have to do that, and they're going to find different ways to show off their beauty so that men don't initially sexualize us right away. But that's all I really want to talk about for this episode. I will be getting more into depth, as I said, with how to be feminine and things like that. Please feel free to comment, leave any suggestions or things like that as well. Subscribe, share, like, and I hope to see you guys and hear from you guys in my next episode. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.